their incomes, and in there, sometimes we find ourselves in very tight situations. But that is very unethical. I may not be very unethical in banking. It's very unethical.
Okay, let's look up for Christopher.
From grassroots up to a national level, we have structures attached to local government, and we always organize dialogues with the cities, municipalities, through CDF, and we directly work with local government and Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development.
You don't call the press when you're doing those things?
We work with the media in most areas, and we always interact with the media in that, for instance, if you're in Ginger City, our engagement, we always invite media, and they always publish some of what we do and our work.
Okay, well, so now that you're here, we need more energy. Because now you're talking about Islam, whatever it is, but I have not seen you resisting, fighting for an organized environment, organized housing settlement, kind of thing. Have you falling as you're sleeping, you hear the sound? But no one is checking because the law has been lacking. So we want to really introduce, because even the land in Uganda now is being sold abnormally. You find the land in Uganda there. You don't even have a title. Huh? So there is that uncontrolled, they don't know the price because we are not guiding them. And they build and they manipulate our people. And that's why you see many of these houses, they have sold after just 2 years. They are losing what? Value. So this law will help us to check, and it's also an opportunity to strengthen Uganda's built environment professions, promote innovation, and create meaningful employment for our young professionals. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin today's discussion, let us remain focused on results, that's outcomes. Success will be measured by the number of Ugandans families who gain access to decent and affordable housing, and the person of money was here and committed himself in broad daylight. Clap for him, clap for Mr. Chaira. So that as he, because now for us we don't have any better ambassador than you. So that as he is there in their ministry planning for next financial year, you should remember that the architectures are lacking funds, but they're not much funds even, just to enhance them to do these jobs. Because now we were designing the community houses at least to start with the rural areas before they get messed up. I'm happy that one of my rural areas, people mobilize themselves and they have built uniform houses. I was like, without my support, I was challenged. So we can do it. It will be measured by the confidence investors have in Uganda's housing, like you said, it builds the investors' confidence. It will be measured by the jobs we create, because housing sector has capacity to create so many jobs. The communities we build, the contribution the housing sector makes to our country's economic transformation. So I encourage everyone participating today to share practical evidence-based recommendations that strengthen the link between our national housing commitments, our budgets and implementation. The ministry is committed to considering the outcomes of this dialogue. President, I don't think that you've done something. Of course, you're here with my housing sector. Commissioner Architecture Irene is there. It's good. She's also an architecture. You stand up and they see you. That is the commissioner in charge of housing. And the other staff from the ministry are here, different departments, including Uganda Land Commission. Mr. Nyumba is there. I encourage everyone to be an ambassador when all of us are living decently, all of us will enjoy our country. You can never enjoy your house when outside of your surrounding, people are living in miserable structures. Together, let us turn the aspirations of Vision 2040, the Fourth National Development Plan, the NRM Manifesto, and the 10-fold growth strategy into real improvements in the lives of Ugandans through decent, affordable, and sustainable housing. It is now my honor to officially declare the Uganda Society of Architects post-budget dialogue on housing open. I thank you for your kind attention for God and my country.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Honorable Minister. You have really brought out the spirit of dialogue. I saw you chatting with our representative from the Ministry of Finance, and I'm sure you'll continue with our bankers, with our civil society. This is the spirit of the dialogue. So thank you so much. I just wanted to say, Housing Finance has been my bank for more than 25 years. And I can assure you, the challenges with the defaults, maybe it's another bank. But yes. So, yes, because when I went to get a mortgage, I asked for so much. And they told me, hey, you will not manage. Come. And that's why I like them. But we are going to, please, Rapporteur, we're going to try and answer your question, do some research and answer that question on defaults, because it is something. So thank you so much. And once again, you're all most welcome. Let us now get into the second part of the program, where we are going to listen to the keynote address from the National Planning Authority. Dr. Joseph Mubawala was prepared an address for us. He was very eager to deliver it, and then he was invited to Parliament for a session, and he cannot be here with us. But he was torn. He wanted to be here, but he could not. However, with us, we had also invited the chairperson of the Committee for Lands, Housing and Urban Development. He also wanted to be here, but they had set a meeting. And thank you so much. The deputy is with us. That shows their commitment to this dialogue. With also, yes, Honorable Peace, thank you for coming to represent your chairperson, as well as Honorable Godfrey Wanyoto. Thank you so much for being with us. And we hope when they release Doctor, he will come also. I don't know. Just to let you know who prepared the keynote address, Dr. Joseph Mubawala, as you know, is a distinguished Ugandan academic, economist, and public servant. currently serves as Katukiro of the Busoga Kingdom, but also the Executive Director of the National Planning Authority of Uganda. So he did prepare this for us, and because he's not able to be with us, Mr. Peter Kasaija of National Planning Authority, a physical planner, will deliver his speech, and God willing, Doctor will join us if he can. So without much ado, I'd like to invite Mr. Peter Kasaija to give us the keynote address, after which we will have we'll see how to adjust the program, but most welcome, Peter. Yeah.
Is it still morning or it's afternoon? A very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much, Vena. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Mrs. Princess Namuganza, Minister of State for Housing, for that very rousing speech that you've given. I believe, in addition to the remark,
Workmanship. That's why they build some houses like this. Have you seen those houses also? Yeah, sometimes even some of them are stolen. And those who are built, they have been paid. I keep seeing such houses. You see a very huge house, but it's like it wants to do what? To collapse. And the designers, you are there. I don't know whether people lack professionals where to find them. How do we promote you? I think that should reflect. Because some of you, they say the architecture, they are very expensive, the people engineers are expensive. And so I was going through internet and I saw that some architects were online. They are designing affordable housing. And that's why we need them. Because even the way we are constructing, Mr. Child, is very costly. This system of bricks laying and all that, they're very costly. Even a simple house that will cost little money. I think that you need to come up with that innovation and guide us. Because I have seen online, people say that you can have a house of 25 million. It's online. You also don't. You always see those things. 25 and it's a good house. But for us here, they start slowly and you start paying. They say add this. By the time you discover you are in 100 millions, the house is not even what? Complete. So, help us the architecture. If we are talking about affordable housing, let's have something and demonstrate. And we show the head of the nation that it can work. 3 bedroom, 2 bedrooms.
that have been shared by Mr. Patrick Ochailu from Ministry of Finance, it makes our dialogue easier. Because most of the things that have been spoken about, I'll more or less raise them in this keynote that has been prepared by Dr. Joseph Mubawala. So the chief guest, the Honorable, once again, Minister of State for Housing, Mrs. Princess Namuganza, our Honorable Members of Parliament, Architect Kenneth Amunsimire, President of the Uganda Society of Architects, distinguished members of the architectural and the built environment professionals that are also here with us today, representatives of government ministries, departments and agencies, development partners, representatives of financial institutions. We've had, for example, from our colleague from Housing Finance Bank, civil society organizations, Mr. Waiswa from Act Together National Slum Dwellers Federation, academia, real estate developers, and community representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring warm greetings from the National Planning Authority, the ED, the Executive Director, Dr. Joseph Mubawala, the executive board, senior management, and staff. As National Planning Authority, it's a deep honor to present this keynote address at this dialogue on promoting decent housing for different income segments. We think it's a timely endeavor, it's a timely discussion. We thank the Uganda Society of Architects and the partners for organizing this particular event and for the consequential discussion we expect that will follow. I think we're all aware of the realities, the trends we are seeing in our country, in our city. Elite towers are being built every other day. High-end apartments are rising across our skyline. We see trucks ferrying materials across the city and beyond the city. But it masks something else. We see swanky apartment blocks, residential neighborhoods coming up. But the reality is that the majority of our fellow Ugandans cannot afford an affordable, secure, adequate, well-serviced and decent house. That is the reality. In spite of what we see in terms of what is unfolding, our cities are swelling by 5% every year. That is a significant statistic. And yet our private sector can only deliver only about 60,000 formal units, housing units every year, against an annual demand of 344,000 units. What happens when we look at this deficit? What do we do with this deficit? When we look at the mathematics, it just does not add up. If we continue on this trajectory, we're expecting the deficit, the housing deficit, to balloon to about 4.5 million and above by 2035. Essentially, what we are saying is that this is not a failure of imagination. We have our architects in this room and other built environment professionals. It is not about us failing to imagine a different future or a better future. But we think it's a failure of our built environment ecosystem. It's at the root of the challenge or the problem. How do we engage with that? Our architects are trapped in a cycle of designing beautiful concepts, but for a very small segment of the population. Private developers face high interest rates and scarce long-term capital. We don't have what we call patient capital in this country at the moment. And therefore, delivering affordable housing is a very high-risk gamble for the private sector players. Civil society and development partners have therefore been left to grapple with the fallout of informal settlements as a result of these realities. We are treating housing as essentially a private responsibility rather than a public obligation and an economic multiplier. Let that sink in. How do we move from treating it as a private responsibility to looking at it as an obligation on our part as government and an economic multiplier given the potential benefits it can provide if we invested significantly into it? But the news is not all gloom. As our colleagues have pointed out, there's a lot that the government is doing. For example, we've had the enactment of the Building Control Act, the Mortgage Refinance Institutions Act, and the Valuation Act most recently, alongside, of course, the ongoing review of the National Housing Policy, the National Land Use Policy, the National Slum Upgrading Policy and Action Plan has also been reviewed. So essentially, we are seeing a regulatory framework that is responding to the need that we are seeing unfolding. And this regulatory framework, the reforms that we are seeing being undertaken, are creating a pathway for what we are calling a structural revolution. The government is streamlining the institutional framework. We are exploring financing partnerships and also championing appropriate and innovative technologies such as green, climate resilient, alternative technologies. So our thinking is that let us align our collective power to think creatively, innovate, design, finance, and construct an entirely new future for Uganda. Let us build. That is just setting the stage for the 5 key sections that are set out in the keynote. I'll start with the introduction. When you look at the question that the dialogue poses, we think it is intentionally direct. We need to track the commitments of government of Uganda on housing through the national budget and ask, what will it take to deliver? It is a question that all of us here today are uniquely placed to make a valid contribution. We cannot say that such and such an individual will make a greater contribution. I think all of us can make a significant contribution.
We come up with something. So Chilab gives us money, we get a site and demonstrate affordable what? Housing. Yes, how it will look like. Now if you want to clap, you clap. If you offer, yes. For me, I think that's a good idea. So that we stop just talking about affordable, but we cannot even have an example. When you visit other countries, they have this. We went to Kigali, we were able to visit affordable housing. And they are cheap, and you would wonder. They are okay, they are decent. And the CEO National Housing was also there. So can we have some, even if we have maybe 10 acres of land, and demonstrate this? And we say, yeah, what we have built there is what we want in different parts of the world, of the country. And the architecture gives us very, very good designs. We shall come up with something beautiful. And Ugandans believe like, by seeing, they are like Thomas. They are doubting Thomas. Yeah. So the ministry remains fully committed to strengthening the housing.
Housing occupation generates local demand for service.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's clear that housing is a multi-sectoral investment. Housing expenditure extends far beyond the budget of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. It is embedded across investments in infrastructure, urban development, land administration, finance, environment, and social services. So no single institution therefore can solve Uganda's housing challenges. And when you tackle housing, you're touching, you're stimulating all the other sectors for growth, and even government will gain, generate more revenues, because other sectors, even food, you see how many cooks can bring food on the site. Just one site like this, you find a person with morning tea, chapati and what. So even the people around, once you support the housing sector, all the other sectors are indirectly supported. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development therefore must mobilize adequate resources, Mr. Chair, develop enabling fiscal policies and create incentives that characterize the investment in affordable housing. Like I said, purchase land, we demonstrate this. You talked about local governments, and I totally agree with you. There is a huge gap of coordination. They had kept their land, but now local governments also have now started messing up with what? With their land. So by the time we move there, if we don't start right now, we shall find when local government is more messed up than even Kampala. Who believes that Kampala is messed up? Is that the city we want? Because even in the gaps that had remained there, every day they are fixing what? Other buildings. Other buildings have also been run by architects. They take you to a place, you see that, and they say architecture, design the house which fits here. the president. Are you hearing that? You want to organize the country, but who is drawing these plans which they are fixing in these gaps which were like public spaces? So an architecture should
I just got one statement that I think embodies what this dialogue is about. We need to move from saying that housing is a private concern and make it a public obligation. If we can slowly talk about it and get to that point, I think we will have done a good job. Most importantly, you said policy without political support does not move far. And we are very happy that our political representatives are here. Now, we need to manage time because sugar levels may be going down. So we are going to have to kind of have an abridged version of the dialogue, but it will work. Once again, thank you so much. I think we need to give him a round of applause, please. And thank Dr. Mubawala for this and send him our warm regards because he really came through for us. So, how are we going to move forward? I am going to invite the panelists here and they will sit. But before they start discussing, I would like to request the Deputy Chairperson of the Parliament Committee on Lands, Honorable Peace Tevyaze, to at least respond to the keynote address. I'm going to first sit the panelists, then I will ask you to respond before we now delve into that, so you can be preparing yourself as they come up. Thank you so much. Yes, so we will have from the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Architect Irene Umoja, who has over 15 years of professional experience in the housing and real estate sector. She's currently the Commissioner for Housing Development and Estate Management at the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. You're most welcome, Irene. We will also have a representative from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Yes, we do have Mr. Moses Bekabye, and he is the Technical Advisor for Economic Affairs in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you. So I would like to also invite a representative from the National Housing and Construction Company Limited, Mr. Derek Mutejechi. He's a Deputy CEO, Finance and Administration. He is a fellow certified chartered accountant, UK, CPA, Uganda. You're most welcome, Derek. I would like to invite a representative from the National Building Review Board, Architect Pamela Akora. She's an architect in the compliance section of the National Building Review Board, and she's our honorary secretary of the Uganda Society of Architects. Welcome, Pamela. I would like to invite a representative from the Uganda Bureau of Standards. Initially, we had hoped to have the Deputy ED, but I think this is a season of engagements. He was not able to make it, but he was really committed and sent to us the Head of Department, Social Surveys and Census of UBOS, Mr. Variahirwa Stephen. Most welcome. And then we have a representative from Housing Housing Finance Bank. He's been up here before and he's coming back. You're most welcome. Christopher Sebugenyi, I hope I get that right, is the head of product at Housing Finance Bank and is a seasoned professional banker. He's a seasoned banker. You're most welcome, Christopher Sebugenyi. Yes. Apologies. It's Uganda Bureau of Statistics. As they say, you cannot improve what you do not measure. We are very privileged to have our the statisticians in the house. So yes. I would like to once again invite our keynote speaker to come here because also we are going to respond to it. You're most welcome, Peter. Yes, you formed the panel as well. You're welcome. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. As you have seen, our members of parliament have had to leave because they have a house session and they had to go for it. So we are very happy and privileged that they were with us, at least to receive the keynote address, and I'm sure we'll continue engaging with them. Okay, so now let's just delve into the discussion. Once again, thank you so much, Peter, and through you, we thank Dr. Mubawala for this insightful and thought-provoking address, and we'd like to appreciate the time and support. So we will begin with the discussion, and we will start with the ministry, with the architect Irene, to discuss a little bit about what they received from the keynote address. As you know, the keynote has argued that Uganda has no shortage of policies. You know, we have so many. What rather we have is a shortage of implementation, shortage of financing, and coordinated delivery. So, Architect Irene, from the ministry's perspective, how do these observations align with reforms happening in the ministry that are currently happening, and what changes, particularly with regard to funding and implementation, are needed to translate these reforms into more affordable housing for Ugandans? Irene, please. Thank you. 5 minutes. I don't know, sorry.
Easter had stressed out in the early hours. Among the key points discussed, Parliament is here to appropriate, and through the committee, we will always ensure that we appropriate the best of funds to different ministries, departments, and agencies that are responsible for proper housing. These include the National Planning Authority, that is the NPA, then the National Construction Companies, and among others, plus the architects around here. As of now, as we're engaging with you and other ministries and agencies as a committee on lands, we ensure that your projects run smoothly and every agency is aided as possible through our committees. As also here today, I believe we shall do more of the listening. As the panelists around, we shall do more of the listening and see how we go about with everything discussed. As also, hopeful as we are, we intend to fast-track the real estate bill. And we believe it will be a key factor in not only turning the housing sector around, but also to solve the problematic slums that are increasing within the city centers and also the municipalities, town councils, as we extend to the rural areas. Thank you so much. I'll do a minimal invite to my member of the committee to just give you something small, and then we can sum up and listen to you.
The ruling government, the sitting government of the day, is never popular in the capital city. Now Singapore is just a city. So in order to ensure longevity,
thank you very much,
their rule,
Deputy Chair.
We are going to provide housing for the people. So maybe that might be a way to convince the powers.
The chief guest in absentia.
If you want to stay a bit longer,
allow me to stand on the already existing protocol.
For you, but
good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Selling it properly to the powers that be.
I'm called
Nyoto
Godfrey,
maybe that's something you can comment on.
representing the people of Budadili West. On the Parliament, and I'm on the Sectoral Committee of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. I want to take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this dialogue. We should have those manners of dialoguing, not confrontation. And I want also to thank you very much for identifying the right stakeholders in this dialogue. Because you cannot do your work without land. You cannot do your work without fiscal planners. You cannot do this work of yours properly without political intervention. As you may be aware, in Parliament, lands was under infrastructure committee, and less effort was given to lands. People would go into roads, until it was split, I think last year also, to be a standalone committee of Parliament. Therefore, you now have a say, because we are going to give you more time as opposed to when you were under the Committee of Infrastructure. I don't want to repeat what my boss has said, but it's better that you look at the budgets, because now you're going into the budget frameworks. If a budget comes and has that element of architecture, and I've been part of this dialogue, then we can give you support when it comes to Parliament, because we will be part and parcel of your journey. So for us, we are very happy that we are here. We have had so many problems. You had the minister, the chief guest also, can I say, lamenting? And she's right. When you travel out of the country and you see how cities are organized, then you come here and you see ours, you ask yourself, people who travel, by then I wasn't in Parliament, I was a small man somewhere. People who travel, do they see these developments? If they see, why can't they come and implement them in their countries? So, thank you very much for the invitation. We are going to stay around, listen, and make sure that we give you support as far as Parliament is concerned. At times we raise what we call matters of national importance in Parliament. I can't feel shy, having participated in this dialogue, to stand on the floor of Parliament. By the way, you can come and tip me and say, Honorable, raise this as a matter of national importance. Now, when you raise, our Prime Minister is very easy to answer, I've directed. Then that's the beginning, and now you follow. Remember, the Prime Minister did what? Directed. So I want to thank you very much for having invited us. We are going to stay around as much as possible and enjoy the presentations. Thank you very much. I remain Wanyoto Godfrey, Member of Parliament, Budadiri West.
So I would challenge that we look at housing as an entire value chain, and that way, even the highest offices.
Thank you so much, and we will definitely take you up on that. Once again, as our keynote speaker said, policy without political support cannot move very far. Thank you so much.
When we are looking at a housing unit,
I will
knowing
just
like
ask the
how many do we
question
have
once
here?
again that
From
we
the
had begun to
keynote address
answer.
that the
From the
LPA
ministry's
gave to us,
perspective,
you saw
Architect
it's
Irene,
not only looking at the structure.
how
You are supposed to be looking at
how does this
other
observation,
company
you know, that we have
things
so
like
many
social
policies but
water,
implementation is a challenge, you know,
So,
how
we have to come up
how
with
does this comment align with the
something that will help
reforms
us to
currently
know that
underway? 5
This
minutes,
is
please.
a complete unit of what we are measuring as a housing unit. Instead of coming up with structure, everybody lives somewhere. At least we know that, yeah. Everybody lives somewhere, and in the census we found out we had around 10.7 households. People were living somewhere. Some were living in huts, others were living in flats, in semi-detached houses. You know, we have that information. But from the information that we have, not everything is definitely adequate for a household to live in, because it lacks some of the most important ingredients that go with a housing unit. So when we are going to do these measurements, we collect that information. I think we need to come up with like standards with what we need to put in mind when we are collecting that information. We know we have collected something that will exactly tell us that these people are in the right housing units, which are adequate for human occupation, such that when we are telling members, we know where we are, where we started, and where we are going, and how we are improving. And you know, these studies we do, they normally take long because they are expensive. A census takes 10 years. Serious surveys like the National Household Survey takes 3 years. And you maybe want to keep knowing what the status is every other year or what. So we also have to find out if we can get other means of getting additional data, which is more frequent. If we have known exactly what we are measuring, what we want to measure, to make sure all the opposite things we have put them in, we need to know how fast or how frequent can we do it. And of course, that will come up to cost. We are grateful to government because they have been sponsoring most of these surveys. We no longer depend on donors. There are very few where donors come in to help. But all of that will depend on us deciding together how do we measure this thing of housing.
Experts in measuring, and as architects, we are the experts in defining some of these things. So I think we can work together with everybody else to see that we have statistics that really help us appreciate and
established specifically to advance the affordable housing agenda are facing some constraints here and there in achieving their mandate. A lot has been said about slum upgrading, and the country has had a framework for addressing slums for several years. We had the National Slum Upgrading Action Plan of 2008, under which some projects were implemented, such as Namuwongo, such as Kasoli Housing Project, and we also implemented projects like Masese. Now, this action plan was reviewed in 2023 with support from UN Habitat, and we now have the National Smart Slum Upgrading Prevention Strategy and Action Plan that is yet to be implemented. These are some of the priorities that we have as a sector under NDP4 and even previously under NDP3. So yes, as a sector, we have a substantial body of policies, we have the plans. However, what we also observe is that this market-led growth has not led to affordability, it has not delivered inclusiveness, it has not delivered the scale of production that is required to meet the growing housing need. Now, that requires a strategic shift for sure in the next phase of implementation as we go into the review of the national housing policy. Our position as a ministry is that government must now evolve from the role, just beyond the role of a market enabler, to becoming a more active market shaper, to address constraints, market failures, to reduce development costs, to also invest in market enablers that the private sector alone might not be able to efficiently deliver. Of course, these interventions span across the entire value chain, from land, infrastructure, subsidies and incentives. Our perspective is that if government can address these fundamentals, then it will create confidence in the private market to continue investing, which will enable government to leverage the minimal public resources that we have to more significant private sector investment. Now, the key question was, are we adequately funded? Are we adequately funding our housing priorities? And this has been the central question of our dialogue. And we specifically focused ourselves on the NDP4 objective of promoting decent housing for different income groups. Our simple response is no, straightforward. Many of the housing interventions identified under NDP4 were actually carried over from NDP3 because they were not implemented and they remained underfunded priorities. When we look at the numbers for the last financial year, the housing sub-program required about 127.7 billion, and of that, only 1.1 billion was allocated. This is a funding gap of 99%. This year, the situation is worse. Our funding requirement is about 467.35 billion. And what we have in the budget is 2.1 billion, and this is a funding gap of 99.6%. Now, of course, we appreciate the perspective of the enabling environment, and that was what was presented by Ministry of Finance, but we have focused on that specific intervention, NDP4, promoting decent housing for different income groups. Overall, when you look at the budget of the ministry, it is just 0.24% of the national budget. And the ministry is one of the least funded ministries, despite its strategic importance. So this has been a persistent challenge. Funding, interventions, the commitments against the funding has been a great challenge. However, the fundamental reality that we would like to put across, which has already been mentioned by previous speakers, government alone cannot deliver affordable housing at the scale required, and neither can the private sector acting in isolation. We need to bridge this affordability gap, and it requires partnership between government and the private sector, government playing a catalytic role, creating conditions that are necessary for the private sector to go deeper downstream into housing for the low and middle income group. Now, against this background, the ministry has initiated the development of a national affordable housing framework, which is also among the recommendations of the National Planning Authority. Under this framework, we shall establish the national affordability standards for different income groups, including the different house prices along with the house typologies. We shall put in place a clear public-private partnership framework defining roles, responsibilities, and risk-sharing mechanisms between the players. We shall put in place a national land assembly mechanism to mobilize and prepare land for affordable housing development. It will also involve putting in place a subsidies and incentives framework to improve affordability. We shall put in place a housing finance strategy to expand access to affordable housing finance through mortgages, rent to own, and other. We shall explore a financing mechanism. And we have, this initiative has strong support from the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, and we thank him so much because he also provided some funding to initiate this process. Alongside this, the real estate bill has been mentioned. It will go a long way in improving consumer protection, in ensuring transparency in the market, and also mainstreaming industry standards. We have data has been a challenge, and we have an ongoing process to put in place a housing and real estate information system, which will be key in strengthening data for planning and investment. In conclusion, yes, we have made significant progress under enabling strategy, but much more needs to be done. We are not yet downstream to the ordinary Ugandan who is grappling with the challenge of housing. The keynote address has said it all when it comes to what does it take to deliver. First is political commitment. Most countries that have transformed their housing sector have only done so because housing became a national priority, championed at the highest level. And without that, it will be difficult to move this agenda due to its capital-intensive requirement. Second, we need to align between policy, between political commitments, between our budgets and implementations. This is the challenge we are facing. The commitments seem ambitious compared to the resources available to implement them. We also need a stronger role of government through strategic investments to unlock greater capital. The need for partnerships, collaborations has also been highlighted. Yes, housing is capital intensive, but we are seeing countries, our neighbors here, working within their constrained budgets to ensure that they address them. We also end on a positive note and say, we know Uganda is also capable of doing the same. We need to start somewhere because the challenge is growing, and the more we wait, the more capital intensive it also becomes. So those are my remarks. Let us ensure we join countries in the region and around the world to address this challenge. Let us not be left behind as a country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Irene. There you had it. We are moving towards a change in strategy because, you know, private sector is after profit. There is a certain neighborhood in Kampala where the ratio of men to women is 2-to-1 because the private developers have built for men. That's where the money is. They've even taken over schools and built on them. So if you leave everything to the private sector, things may not go so well. I'm glad that there's going to be a change in strategy as you review, and as a society, we are ready to lend our minds in the stakeholder engagements. Thank you, Irene. Allow me to use first names. We are one family, and we are keeping this simple and casual. Not casual, but we are talking about our problems. So allow me to drop to that informality. Ministry of Finance. Moses, you have had the keynote address. You have heard from Irene. In the keynote address, they did mention the 10-fold growth strategy. And as we know, they look at ATMs, you know, agriculture, tourism, minerals, and science. But the keynote has made a point that housing is not merely a social service. You know, it's a productive investment that creates jobs, stimulates manufacturing, mobilizes private capital. It's so much. So the question is that from the Ministry of Finance perspective, do you see housing as an enabling investment for the 10-fold growth strategy? And if so, how should that be reflected in future budgets? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think in the interest of time, protocol observed. In the interest of time, I'll just say very little because my minister, represented by the Mr. Chalab, my sister here has said most of the nice things, and the keynote address was also brought up. We look at housing from a private sector perspective, and government playing, as she has said, a catalytic role, a facilitative role, an enabler for the private sector to actually come in. Because when you look at the financing that is required for addressing the needs of the growing population, the private sector has to come in, including when we talk about the 10-fold growth strategy. We're talking about really leveraging private capital to come in and provide not only housing, but also deliver on the other commitments that government is talking about. So in terms of the national budget, we are looking at, for instance, when you look at the cost of housing, 40% of that cost is public goods. Is the cost of infrastructure, the roads, water, electricity, and all those kind of things, ICT infrastructure. And that constitutes about 40%. So if government, what government is doing is to provide that infrastructure. And we are focusing largely, we have a project, a big project coming up, also funded by the World Bank, for the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area, improving the infrastructure within the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area, including some of the new roads that you're seeing that are being upgraded or rehabilitated within Kampala. But that will also include extending some of these, like electricity, you know, ICT and those kind of things. So that takes away about 40% of the cost of housing. We also have facilities. For instance, we have, of course, the keynote address talked about UDB. the government has capitalized the UDB between about 1.6 trillion, I think in the last 5 years or something like that. And UDB has extended about 2.45 trillion, to the private sector, including housing. So in this budget, this current budget that started last month, we're providing about 442 billion for capitalization of UDB. And these funds can be accessed. These are long-term funds which can be accessed by the private sector, including for housing. We also have what we call the small business fund. This was first created for the COVID pandemic. It was called the Small Business Recovery Fund. It has disbursed about 82 billion shillings to date to small and medium enterprises. And it is providing financing up to about 500 million, which is adequate, I'm sure, for at least putting up a medium house that we're talking about, maybe 2 or 3 houses of medium scale. So at that fund, the interest on that is 10%. Yeah, it's 10%. It's not 20%. It's 10%. So if the housing sector wants to access this fund, it's available. And the faster it's utilized, we can actually scale up if it's utilized, because we've been setting up some of these funds and they remain unutilized. But also the other thing that I've been talking about, Amin has been talked about, is improving the environment, the regulatory environment, the macroeconomic environment, in order to attract foreign capital, FDI, foreign direct investment. And the role that we are doing now, and we are working on this now, is to risk access to cheap capital. And it's available. It's available externally. We just need to have partial risk guarantee mechanisms, which you also deal with, in order to attract this kind of capital. So what I'm saying is that, as my sister here said, we are working with the private sector to leverage a private capital and providing the necessary environment in order to access, for the private sector to access this capital, and also to bring in investment that is going to, including guarantee mechanisms, as I mentioned, in order to leverage this. Of course, we have the National Housing and Construction Company here. I'm sure he's going to talk about it. The strategy here, and he knows it, and the Minister for Housing said it also. We are trying to repossess the shareholding that the Libyan government holds in the company, so that the government can have 100% shareholding. And once this happens, we're actually working on this right now. We had the negotiations with the Libyans. We're just at the process of signing off. And once this happens, we'll open up the access to capital by National Housing and Construction Company. Because right now it cannot access capital. Because when they open the shareholding structure, they see Libya, and Libya is a sanctioned country by many countries, so it cannot easily access capital. So when you see Libya behind, no creditor will actually provide financing to National Housing. So we are addressing that constraint as I speak today. The other thing is that National Housing, once that is addressed, because it has also been a constraint for members of parliament in terms of appropriation, that will also mean that the government can actually increase the capitalization of National Housing. And that we're also working on as I speak now. So the point I'm making is that we are not saying we are not supporting the housing. We are going to be in a partnership. We are going to provide the enablers, as I mentioned, but also in areas which are difficult. For instance, the military, the police, maybe the medical sectors and those kind of things. The government can finance those directly. But we can also leverage co-financing and blend financing because there are institutions, including from outside, that are willing to co-finance for this cause. So these are some of the enabling environments that we're talking about. But in terms of capitalization of the newly established mortgage refinance company, of course, it came in without a budget, but we are prioritizing it in terms of operationalization. So we are repurposing the budget right now to a tune about 12 billion in order to operationalize the mortgage refinance company. And we've set up a task force that is going to spearhead regulatory requirements, the capital structure, the governance structures, and all those kind of things, in order for this refinance company to be established as quickly as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your insightful comments and actually letting us know that there are even funds at 10%. Who knew that we can access funds at that amount? So, rightly so, public goods are a big component of housing, and we appreciate what government is doing and continuing to do. We hope that you may also budget for subsidies, because there are some people who simply cannot afford.
Let me address that right away, because I had forgotten about it, because it came up in the keynote address, I think. The position of the Minister of Finance is not to provide direct subsidies. And we like to speak candidly about these issues. Of course, when we had high inflation, some time back, prices going up, there was outcry that we provide subsidies. We went to cabinet, we said we cannot afford subsidies. What we are talking about here is affordability of housing, but also affordability by government to provide this kind of subsidies. So we can subsidize, we can through maybe taxation. For instance, when the mortgage refinance company comes on board, because it will have to access private capital through shareholding, equity capital, issuance of bonds, corporate bonds. We could consider maybe removing taxation on those bonds in order to lower that capital. You know, we can do these kind of mechanisms, but not provide direct subsidies to individuals. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. And I must say that we are happy that you're now putting a budget together to operationalize the Mortgage Refinancing Act. I know our own Building Control Act took so long, Pamela, took so long to come into force. But now that you're doing this, we are very happy about that. So thank you, Moses. And please write down your questions. I'm going to pick a few people again to also respond and react to the keynote address. Just 3 people. If you're not picked, you can write your question, and we will see how to engage you. So at this point, I'd like to thank the discussants and open it up to the audience. 2-3 questions, and then we move on to discuss. All right. Okay, the first 3 hands. I'll start with our graduate architect, followed by the representative of the Urban Authorities Association of Uganda. Okay, and the gentleman in green, and and then from the ministry, just for, you can also, like I said, write your comments. Thank you. Who is moving the mic? Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Patience Apoya Nyakecho, graduate architect. Concerning looking at the resettlement of the displaced people of Bududa as an example, government took them to Kwen district and they bought land there and were given the current people 10 million shillings and then 2 acres of land and I think a plot for where to build. But when you look at what is on ground, you realize it's very pathetic. And then we are looking at affordable housing and what you're thinking. So my question is, and then if I also cite the Namuongo housing, it was done and given, but most of them ended up selling and going back to the slum and extending the slum. So as concerned people, the ministry and all the parties concerned, when we're talking about this, how are we looking at this not reoccurring so that government is not going to just, let me put in quotes, waste the resources, and yet like at the end it appears that usually the architects are invited after a certain kind of mess is done and then they are called to. So how are you going to ensure that the architects are part of the game or part of the role of building this up from the start and then having this housing actually working for the people intended to the way it is, so that we avoid the town movement looking for, you have housing here and then someone is going to another place to look for employment. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Alfred?
Thank you very much. Alfred Ogwang is my name. I represent the associations or the local governments, as I said earlier. Mine mostly is not a question, but a lot of appreciation and maybe information. I want to thank the chief guest, actually brought in a number of issues, and even the keynote address had a lot of issues on housing. I recalled the keynote address actually highlighted, concluded with highlighting political issues, building alliances, working with partners, and above all, financing the commitments. I want to say that this is, in my opinion, I take this dialogue as being very important. Actually, I may call it post and pre-budget. Pre-budget because we have started the budget process. Maybe some of you don't know that the budget process actually doesn't start when the budget call circular is given. It starts with the negotiations. My colleague has just left from the Finance Commission. They are the ones that coordinate the budget negotiation process. And in the budget process, everybody is saying, finance give us money. Finance give us money. But finance has come out with the fiscal policy, which you know. Budgeting now is program-based. And it's actually a privilege that the Ministry of Lands is the secretariat of sustainable urban and housing program. What am I saying? The ministry is the one responsible for distributing this IPF on urban and housing. So we expect the ministry to prioritize housing in the budget. Of course, as the Secretariat, there are other players in that. And as I said, the budget process has started. The ministry is supposed to bring, I think, on 21st of this month, we expect the ministry's issues to include housing, which has not been either prioritized. Maybe most of us also don't understand what I'm talking about. The national cake or the budget, most people don't even know how much was passed. Maybe the representative of the ministry will remind us. It's over 80 trillion. And the question normally is, this budget is normally discussed with the local governments, what is supposed to go to the local governments, and what is supposed to be at the center. And that is the process I'm saying. It has already started. We expect the sector, the program, to prioritize housing.
Okay, thank you. One minute.
Yeah, I think I will share with the organizers what was agreed, which I'm sure most of you don't know. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul?
Yes, Paul Busharizi, I have a question and maybe something you can comment on. I keep hearing, and the national planning, Mr. Kasaija mentioned it, that housing has a multiplier effect on the whole economy. Do we have a sense or some ballpark figure with which we can use if we say, for example, that if we built, let's say, 1,000 houses, what would be the economic impact? I know it's a moving target, but do we have some ballpark figure? Secondly, I'm sitting here in 2026, the 21st century, and we're trying to emphasize how housing is a priority. I don't know, it strikes some of you as odd that we're trying to convince ourselves that housing is a priority. It's just amazing. And I suspect that the people who are supposed to sell this agenda to government, maybe in the NPA and maybe in the ministry, they're not selling it properly. In Singapore, the Prime Minister at the time, Lee Kuan Yew, recognized that the ruling government, the sitting government of the day, is never popular in the capital city. Now Singapore is just a city. So in order to ensure longevity of their rule, one of the things they said, we are going to provide housing for the people. So maybe that might be a way to convince the powers the powers that be, that if you want to stay a bit longer, you better do some housing. But that's a comment for you, but the real thing is maybe you guys are not selling it properly to the powers that be, and maybe I'm wrong, but maybe that's something you can comment about.
Thank you very much, the moderator, and to Mr. Kasaija. I'll go straight on the multiplier effect of housing and its prioritization in budgeting. The truth is that the billions which are being talked about are not going directly into housing. Urbanization as a program, sustainable urbanization and housing, has urbanization and housing. But if you compare the budget that is going to housing, it's not even a half of the urbanization technical working group. So what am I trying to say? We know the multiplier effect. We know how housing is a priority. But starting with National Planning Authority, even when we went to do the program-based budgeting, housing has not gotten that prioritization that everyone is talking about in this room. Even if you went to the ministry budgets, you'll find the sector receiving most of the least money. So as government, I think the talk of prioritization and knowing the multiplier effect has got to shift, and we go directly into the interventions. For example, it has been very difficult to work with national housing on projects because of the issue of shares. It's a private company which is supposed to do government work. So even if you go with a project, it will not see the light of the day in the development committee. So first of all, I'm excited that finance is resolving the issue of shares. Maybe it will help us to go a long way into the actual interventions which improve housing. To an issue of innovation and technology. Everyone is talking about the cost of housing. Yes, the materials are expensive, but have we upgraded our technologies to help us cut the cost? Which kind of materials are we looking at? The same materials which were being used in 90s are the same materials we're still focusing on. Other countries have already shifted. So actually, I would like to challenge the Uganda Society of Architects to up the game of research. We get some new technologies which are focusing on material saving so that we can realize the giant animal in this room of affordable housing. If we continue building the way we are doing, it's unsustainable, it's expensive, but it is not providing the practical solutions for people down there. I know you would challenge me that this is for government, but government does not work alone. That's why we are here. We need this academia, we need the National Building Review Board, and to work with the Uganda Society of Architects so that we have this done. The last one would be on approaching housing as a value chain, not in isolation. Government alone will never provide money that is enough, but also some of the problems which are affecting the cost of housing, the quality of housing, start from for example, physical planning. If we had proper physical planning, we would not see the slums. But are we talking about physical planning in this room? That means even if they gave us all the money, we shall still not be able to solve some of the challenges. So I would challenge that we look at housing as an entire value chain, and that way, even the highest officers will appreciate that once you do ABCD, you'll have the challenge solved. But if we always talk about finances, even if we get the money, we shall still remain where we are. Then finance, I would also, the last one, encourage the same way PDM was done. PDM was looking at the other sector which was not in the money economy. But maybe what you didn't think about is that every coin you spend, housing, rent takes a bigger part of it. So if you actually solved the housing challenge, partially you would have saved on people's income, and they will do other things you expect them when they get out of the not being in the money economy. Maybe you would also request, could we have an intervention which could be of the PDM nature that is entirely looking at improving people's households, most especially in the urban, since it consumes most of their savings and earnings. Thank you.
So much. Peter, in a few minutes, just respond as you can, and we'll get more responses later. Then we will move on to continue with the discussion.
Okay, thank you. Very good reflection points and questions that I'll try to respond to as quickly as possible. A very interesting question around the ballpark figures regarding the multiplier impact of housing. There are several studies that have been undertaken before, but not in Uganda. So our challenge is that we need to do these studies in Uganda to apply to our context. But what we have internationally, there are figures that state that for every dollar invested in housing, you're likely to generate between 5 to 12 US dollars in terms of the multiplier effect. But then you'll also find that there are some more conservative figures that will look at every dollar will probably generate about $1.27 or between $1.27 or $2.90. But the bottom line is every dollar invested will have a multiplier effect, especially if we're looking at the whole value chain, upstream and downstream. The question of whether we are not selling housing as a priority to the key financing institutions in this country, believe me, that question has emerged in other fora, that perhaps the key duty bearers are not doing enough, but they've done a lot over the years. And we've seen milestones such as the housing policy eventually coming out, the slum upgrading strategy eventually coming up. What we are seeing are baby steps. The thinking is that maybe we need to be more radical, beyond looking at housing not just even as an emergency, but as a security issue. Because essentially that is what we are looking at in the case of Singapore. In this country, sectors that get money are essentially sectors that look at issues through the lens of security and safety. And that is the thinking that maybe that is the direction we need to take. We have a burgeoning population of the youth who do not have access to housing. Maybe that is where the framing needs to shift, to look at it as a potential security threat or through the lens of security and not just the traditional way that we've been approaching it. So the dialogue again could look into what should be the position moving forward on how we frame housing or how we position housing so that it receives more funding, more financing. Although we still need to be sensitive to the kind of environment we are operating in, that there are still other priorities. But how do we reframe it to really catch the attention? On the issue of we're still not seeing enough being channeled into housing, even when the figures say that trillions and trillions have been invested into supportive programs such as infrastructure. I think again, this is something that is up for debate. The question is, are the players in the sector harnessing or positioning themselves to better leverage those resources that have been invested in infrastructure, in energy, in roads, and the like? For example, when we look at real estate development, is it following infrastructure? Is it following energy, water, and sanitation investments? Or it is simply looking for the cheapest land and you set up an estate that is completely disconnected from infrastructure investment? And ultimately it becomes expensive to invest in. So I think for me those are some of the things that we need to reflect on moving forward. We don't have all the answers, but those are my responses to some of those questions. Thank you very much, Bernard.
Thank you. Irene, one sentence to answer the Bududa question. Do you have just one sentence or two?
I think it is a long-standing debate whether to relocate or to undertake in situ redevelopment and keep the people at the same location. And of course, the analysis has to look at land ownership, issues of land values, what are the positives, what are the negatives. But the final position has been highlighted by NPA. As much as possible, government has taken a decision that it should be redevelopment as much as possible. However, relocation can be justified in some cases. For example, where it touches on issues of public safety, environment. So it is scenario based, but the position of government as much as possible, redevelopment.
Okay, so now we are going to try and listen to the rest of the panelists in a short time because, yes, we are a bit late. Okay, so now we are going to listen to the National Housing and Construction Company. You heard in the keynote address what is expected of national housing in NDP4 vis-a-vis the housing deficit. It's not just a rounding error. If I may quote, he says, it is a rift. So can you let us know, of course they have mentioned some of the things, what challenges make affordable housing difficult to deliver at scale, and what needs to be given to national housing in the budget to solve some of these challenges? Derek, please.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to ride on the protocol observed, as well as the positive submissions of the previous speakers, the keynote speaker, the Honorable Minister, and our Director, Patrick Ochairab. The first and key, most important thing is that housing is not only a national or a Ugandan challenge, but it's a global challenge. But key to this challenge is how each institution or country looks and approaches the housing challenge. And I also want to say the positives out of this is that there are initiatives that are being implemented in resolving the mass housing development challenges. While riding on the positives, submissions by the previous speakers, I want to speak from a developer point of view so that we can put it into perspective why mass housing is still a challenge. I guess as a country, our key challenge has been we have approached housing from an individual point of view as opposed to a community point of view. In all our policies, right from our land system, which among across the world, we are among the few that rest powers on land to an individual. Incidentally, resting planning powers in an individual as opposed to scalable level or at a ministry level. So that disintegrates or delegates authority to a small unit that will take care of personal or individual units at the expense of the masses. And in so doing, the individual or the sole private sector will be looking at where there is a return. Hence, the housing developments or the mass housing developments you're seeing is where there is a return, and where there is no return in the social and low income housing is where the mass housing or the housing deficit lies. So I guess the biggest challenge is on our land. First of all, in that land, it is becoming very speculative to buy land. If I had a presentation on the composition or cost composition, you'll see that land costs or contributes between 10 to 15% on the cost of housing. Besides that is our legislative policies. The Honorable Minister spoke about taxes, and from a developer point of view, I'm going to try and speak in perspective. Every construction material in residential housing attracts a direct 18% on VAT that is non-claimable. in perspective, it is a direct cost that you don't recover, but you can push it on to the buyer. That is, whether you're buying land, whether you're moving maram from one spot to another, there is 18%. So when you start to plan about housing, there is 18% that is already there. But we all know that housing is capital intensive. And in this capital intensive nature, we have had NDP for contributions to housing being indirect, not direct. Therefore, to a developer, you have to bear all your costs. Now, there is a question of between the infrastructure and the land, what comes first? It is the land, because real estate is land, and land, then location. So you must first buy land, and when you buy land, because of where people are, the costs related with land, you'll find that where there is infrastructure, land is exorbitant. Ultimately, it means the product is going to be expensive. So for developers, we always look for where land at the starting point can be affordable if we are to address affordability. Subsequently, it means then planning has come, development has come ahead of planning. Therefore, you have to provide infrastructure or wait for the government to provide you infrastructure. So the case of scale and affordability is getting out of hand. So we need to consolidate, and this brings us to an issue of zoning. We need to consolidate our planning, our zoning, then send the infrastructure and the land that has been zoned and identified for housing for us to bring about, talk about scale and affordable housing. Let me put it in into perspective. There is an estate around Chiwanga. One of the key developers went there some good years ahead, around 1997, put around 50 good houses. Because of lack of planning, zoning, just the road separates the factories and the housing. You're about to hear this in the public. And what is happening, the fumes from the factories are making these people sick. Now it's an EMA case, and I think it's before court as we speak. So the zoning aspect must come ahead of time. The planning aspect must come ahead of time if we are to have scalable housing in Uganda. So I was on the issue of taxes. So if we have borne as a developer 18%, and these infrastructure costs, they all are accelerating or exponentially increasing the cost of housing. But there are no funders as we speak. We are the oldest as national housing developer in this country, 62 years. We access commercial bank loans at 18%. Minimum you can get 17. That is, but you know how bankers work. They will give you 17, but there is a way in arrangement fees it will come back to 18%. Now, you as a developer, you have incurred 18%, but you are meant to sell this house at a margin for your sustainability. The mortgages in the market are also at 18%, but the mortgage is over 15 to 25 years. So you'll find the person taking a mortgage is speaking of approximately 36% on that product. So again, through the financing means, we don't have enablers for developers on affordable housing and scalable housing. Looking at the banks we have in the market, the biggest being Stanbic Bank. There is no single bank without syndication that can give you 80 billion to put up an housing estate on its own without syndicating. And we have bankers or the statisticians who can testify to this. Yet housing, like we've been talking, the minimum, we have done studies, a livable where you can get an occupation permit within the Greater Kampala metropolitan area. The least cost of a house right now is around 105 million if you're to give a good 2-bedroom for a family. So these aspects aggregate the matters. Now, I was still on taxation. Assume you have borrowed and you are constructing for long term. At mass scale. the employability of Ugandans, employment levels are still low. It therefore means if you put mass housing, you stand a risk of ghost estates. Now, when you stand a risk of ghost estates, strategically you may change these units into rental. But you find there's no incentive whatsoever for you to turn a developed estate into rental, because you would again bear a 30% rental income on top of the 18% rental income tax, 30% on half the rent that you recover. A year it will be around 15%. So it is tax on tax. When you move and put tax analytics, it is double taxation, because it is the same unit that was transactionally taxed, and it is the same unit that now is at income tax separated from corporation tax. So you get double taxation issues, and that lack of incentives, again, the reason you're seeing very few players in the market trying to address scalable housing on the market. So what would be the best way? The best way for us to address this scalable housing is not only at government or institutions level, but it is across even the cultural aspects. Number one, we should approach housing from a community point of view. And when we talk about communities, we find that the old established housing estates are the most plausible way or plausible means for us to go back into mass scalable housing. This is going to be looking at efficient land use. I'll use an example of Gorobi Estate. When you look at Gorobi Estate, it have around 380 units, seated on over 50 acres, but with dilapidated 1+G+3 levels. When you look at the current standards of high-rise buildings, growth in population rate and urbanization rates, this is the starting point where we should be going between 12 to 15 levels without affecting the lives of the current occupants, but serving as many people as possible without stretching the government infrastructure because it's already in existence, and then we can all live together. The people who are there, you can give them a new house while you are allowing the condominium and the new people, new entrance into the condominium. So we are doing that in the Zambia Housing Estate. You must have heard about it. But again, the cultural aspect is for Ugandans, if I already have a house, don't disturb my peace, because back to the land tenure, I have my title. You have no rights making decisions in my plot. So it is both at a national policy, but also at individual levels, we need to find ways. Then I want to agree with what the previous speakers have been saying, but world over, we have all attended conferences, we have traveled. I don't think the problem we have is no longer a challenge. The problem we have in housing as Uganda, it can no longer be a private sector alone. The catalytic approach of government, yes, very much appreciated, but there must be a direct entry, the way Kenya has done. And the government leave alone the indirect initiatives. I will tell you, we need direct investment in housing development, be it land acquisition, be it development, be it mortgage of taking. When we move up out of Kampala, we have tried to look for land and pattern are enough with the newly created cities. We have failed to get an acre of land housing outside Kampala. For the last 40 years, as national housing, we have not obtained the budget on top of the lack of incentives. So as a developer, you find that then the only approach you can move in is to go to luxury developments. When you go to luxury developments, mass market is in the low income and low cost housing. So I think we need to work together as a country, remove the silo approach into how we approach housing. The silo approach is two-way. If I have a plan and I'm developing 500 units, if I put it before KCCA, it shouldn't spend a month that it has not been approved because of the multiplier effect that it has and the socio-economic transformation aspects it will bring in the community. So if you prioritize an individual 3-bedroom over 500 units, then you're also getting it wrong. We can speak and speak until the cows come. I want to submit that. Thank you.
Once again, I say I'm glad that there's going to be a thought process to change strategy, because we have had the challenges and the Ministry of Finance has also had. So you ended on a very good note, and there I will introduce Pamela's question. Pamela from National Building Review Board. So yes, the budget of 2026-27 underscores government's commitment to housing by just streamlining approval processes, strengthening service delivery within human settlements. My question then to you is, as National Building Review Board, what are the remaining barriers to achieving nationwide implementation of BIMS across all cities and local governments? For those who may not know, BIMS is the Building Information Management System, where issues that Derek mentioned of delays in approvals, etc., can be dealt with by going digital, having a digital approval process, tracking officers and tracking delays. Once again, what are the remaining barriers to achieving nationwide implementation of BIMS across all cities and local governments? Pamela, please.
Okay. Thank you, Architect Bana, and thank you to my colleagues in the room. As the keynote address raised, in order to support this housing issue, there has to be a process to hasten how people access housing, and also, as National Housing raised, this includes timelines for approval, because the longer you take, the more money it's going to cost. And as National Building Review Board, one of our roles includes monitoring operations of the building committees, who are charged with granting approval for your respective developments. Also, as a board, what we do is we are interested in safe building, as we say, safe building and better living. So we cannot have a discussion on housing without thinking about safety for human consumption. As architects know, I think 90% of the projects that you do are to be inhabited by people, not animals. So BIMS is an online system that was put in place by the board since 2021 in order to provide an online platform. If I have a plan for my house, my housing development in Arua City, I do not have to spend a whole day to drive to Arua City, and then when the committee says go back and bring the right document, I have to drive back to Kampala and take that document back. So with an online system, this is to enable timely submissions, timely feedback, but also to look at the monies that come in. And BIMS is a platform that involves a number of stakeholders. It involves you, the developers, it involves the professionals, it involves the local councils, it also involves the taxman and Ministry of Finance, as these monies are received and recorded in real time. Some of the challenges, of course, is awareness. And one of the things is, who do you go to design? Who where is your first point of call? Not many people know that actually I should go to the architect or the proper engineer or even have that record. So as a result, because the developer is stuck and yet you have a system that is saying you must have the architect, you must have the engineer. So one of the things is you get stuck with in the bubble of development without approval. And eventually we know that this affects the quality of housing. Sometimes jokes go on the internet, you know, you've seen those shower fittings on top of toilet seats. That is the cause of the problem. And another thing also to BIMS is we have to allow ourselves to live quality lives. If I ask you for architectural drawings, I am not increasing the cost of development. I am not there to increase because you know you have to pay certain monies. The idea is for this to have a quality deliverable, and we need to appreciate this. So BIMS introduces formality, and this formality comes at a cost, but I encourage us to embrace this formality because the interest is going to be a better product. And unfortunately, sometimes government agencies also get caught up in this. One of the things that Ministry of Lands is doing is Ministry of Lands has done prototype housing in various locations. And this prototype housing is to ensure that that person who cannot afford the private architect has some access to a sane building layout. And I have seen this very implementable, as the minister said, in her village. Even in the islands, I was in Buvuma, and this has been a very successful approach. Another challenge to, I think, is the issue of, we're talking about material and methodology. Now, some of the things with an online system is it's not going to be able to, you know, fully have this check. If we're to change technologies in order to make housing more affordable, you're going to require probably a more costly design process and a specification process. So if these things can be probably incorporated into building codes so that a developer is not asked and is required to produce additional documentation to justify a technique, I think that it would also smoothen the process. Then also lastly, I think two things for me: limitation to ICT across the country. Whereas government of Uganda through the Ministry of ICT and NITA, you have made efforts to extend ICT infrastructure and also, can I say, ICT literacy. Even in Kampala here, there are places you go to and the person, I think there was once a statistic of how many people actually own smartphones, and countrywide it was probably less than 30%. Now we are putting in place systems to introduce efficiency, but also the literacy levels of online systems are quite low, and hopefully as government we should learn to put in place these centers where somebody can go to and probably make an online application, just like they do for URA and other systems. But also the ICT coverage across the country is really poor. Sometimes even the local governments have challenges accessing internet, services, and even network issues in order to hasten an online system. Yeah, but also as a board, we are committed to ensure that, as my one of the speakers said earlier, entire value chain to improve the housing discourse. And for us, that includes better standards through the different building codes, and then also trying to see what fits the market. As developers, as design professionals, I think that has been a very big gap in terms of specifying the product for the market. I honestly, I think we as the board have also sometimes been at the tail end of mediating where poor quality housing has been provided, or the developer has bought that house, rather you have bought a house at 50 million, and not even 2 years down the line your ceiling has collapsed on you. So as we're trying to make this affordable, on the other end the private contractor is going to cut costs because he's trying to maximize profit. So through the ministries, we also encourage that there are some policies to guarantee the product even 20 years down the line. And eventually this would also ensure that we're doing justice to the public, and then also allow the professionals to do their work and to correctly advise and to be able to make a difference. And then lastly, now I speak as an architect, this issue of local content. When I see a 20-story building of apartments coming up in the middle of the city, and 90% of that apartment block is owned by a non-Ugandan, and only 10% it can only be afforded by Ugandans. So who are we solving this problem for? And hopefully when we deal with the issue of policies, just like it happens in other countries, are we going to say that out of 100% of every housing development, at least 80% should be allocated to the locals in order to try and bridge this gap and also bridge this cost? Because when you go to Kololo and people are spending $500,000 on apartments, I don't think it is me and you in this room. And that is why we are all here. So as the developers, and sorry, I don't mean to poke my partner here, but that is the reality of their rates. So as from the physical planning perspective, we are building housing. We are saying, let's have housing closer to the cities to reduce traffic and reduce your transit time. But who are we doing this for? We all owe it to have Ugandans at our hearts.
Okay, thank you, Pamela. NBRB within the NDP4, they are supposed to look at building code, compliance to building code, but also the beams. Thank you, Pamela, for your response. For me, again, as an architect, I need to mention that there is a city in this country that has not released a single approval via beams. So I hope you can look into that. A city in Uganda. Okay, now let us move on quickly to Uganda Bureau of Statistics. You know, when you have such caliber of people, you can't let them go without talking, and yet time is moving. Apologies, we're about to wind up. We need to hear from Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Statistics, yes. Yes, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. As we said, you cannot improve what you cannot measure. We need you, boss. We need you, boss. Everyone quotes the housing deficit. But how confident are we that we are measuring the right problem? As a statistician, what can you comment on that? Because we're supposed to reduce the deficit by 100,000 units every year, the 2.4, so many. But are we measuring the right problem? Stephen, please.
Thank you, moderator, and thank you for inviting us to be part of this. Well, that is a hard one. You all know we produce lots of statistics in different areas, and in this area we produce information related to housing, where we look at people, where they live. If we go for a census, we ask you where you live and the type of dwelling, whether it's iron roof, all different kinds of things. But now, when we are looking at a housing unit, knowing like how many do we have here. From the keynote address that the NPA gave to us, you saw it is not only looking at the structure. You are supposed to be looking at other accompanying things like sources of water or what, all those there. So we have to come up with something that will help us to know that this is a complete unit of what we are measuring as a housing unit. Instead of coming up with structure, everybody lives somewhere, at least. We know that, yeah? Everybody lives somewhere, and in the census we found out we had around 10.7 households. People were living somewhere, some were living in huts, others were living in flats, in semi-detached houses, you know. We have that information. But from the information that we have, not everything is definitely adequate for a household to live in, because it lacks some of the most important ingredients that go with a housing unit. So when we are going to do these measurements, we collect that information. I think we need to come up with like standards with what we need to put in mind when we are collecting that information. We know we have collected something that will exactly tell us that these people are in the right housing units, which are adequate for human occupation, such that when we are telling members, we know where we are, where we started, and where we are going, and how we are improving. And you know, these studies we do, they normally take long because they are expensive. A census takes 10 years. Serious surveys like the National Household Survey takes 3 years. And you maybe want to keep knowing what the status is every other year. So we also have to find out if we can get other means of getting additional data, which is more frequent. If we have known exactly what we are measuring, what we want to measure, to make sure all the opposite things we have put them in, we need to know how fast or how frequent can we do it. And of course, that will come up to cost. We are grateful to government because they have been sponsoring most of these surveys. We no longer depend on donors. There are very few where donors come in to help. But all of that will depend on us deciding together how do we measure this thing of housing.
Experts in measuring, and as architects, we are the experts in defining some of these things. So I think we can work together with everybody else to see that we have statistics that really help us appreciate and try to get to the heart of this matter. Once again, what you cannot measure, you may not be able to improve. Okay, thank you so much. I see definitely more levels of collaboration and dialogue. Christopher, the banker, you are the one to give the last submission, more or less, as we conclude. There is a challenge, as you know. NDP4 expects us to increase the mortgage to GDP ratio, to have more mortgages out there, that it should be about 0.9% of GDP. Based on the current estimates, and again, it goes to the issue of statistics. So these estimates are just not so, should not be quoted in, if I may say, they need to be interrogated further, but we need to expand the mortgage portfolio by about 900 billion if we are to get to that 0.9%. So from the perspective of Housing Finance Bank, that is an expert in issuing mortgages, what are the three biggest constraints preventing the market from reaching this milestone of actually taking out these mortgages? And what actions could government, regulators, and financial institutions take, to help us increase this mortgage to GDP ratio? Thank you.
Thank you, Bana. Good afternoon. I know we all look tired, and I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the association for putting this together and have a wonderful discussion. I know we all agree that this has been time well spent here, and I really want to extend my thanks. The question you have asked is about mortgage to GDP ratio, 0.5. We're looking at 0.9. And when I look at that, I was thinking about it in the context of, I'm hoping that as we focus on the mortgage to GDP ratio, we don't lose the fundamental of the housing deficit. Why? You can achieve the mortgage to GDP ratio, and you fail to reduce the deficit. Why? We all agree that with the number of mortgages we have, we are talking about almost average mortgages about 150 millions. For anyone here to qualify for 150 millions in mortgages, you're talking about a net pay of around 5 millions for you to qualify from the bank. 4.5 to 5 millions for you to qualify. And I think it was Peter, who was giving us the indications of about the mean income being around 200K. So you can see that there is 200K compared to 4.5 to 5 millions of nets. So it's a challenge. But nevertheless, the point is about mortgage GDP. I want to just put that into context so that we can be able not to lose the bigger picture. Because for me, where I sit, I think the 2.4 million deficit becomes quite very fundamental here. What has to be done? What has been the challenge? I really, without me repeating myself, anyone who has been here from morning agree that everyone else has discussed about what the challenges are. The issues about affordability, average mortgages around 18 to 21%. Few banks are giving those mortgages because of the mismatch between the depositors, money they use, because here we are doing long-term lending, and customer deposit is what banks base on to give lending, which is really very short-term. So we have all agreed that that is equally a challenge. The other challenges which I see about the land tenure, I was the other time when we were at Mistil with the Ministry of Lands, were giving us statistics. 5.7% of the adults having recognized titles or securities, what you call security for a house. So you can actually see that there's a challenge there as well. But if I can broaden on that discussion about that, as housing finance, because we are the leading mortgage bank, we take the biggest share of the wallets of the portfolio. There's something which we have done. I don't know whether we've all heard about what they call Zima and Pola or incremental housing. It's a product which has been in existence with housing finance for the last like four years. And we want to scale it, because if you look at the numbers right now, it is contributing the biggest of the volumes of the numbers of mortgages we're giving out, because we come from the space that's Ugandans typically, there are very few Ugandans who are going to go to the market and they ask how much is this house and they buy it straight up, right? Most of the Ugandans can just build slowly by slowly. Today I build a slab, next time I put to the roof, then I can be able to put. Some Ugandans, you know how they build, they first lock out the bedroom alone, and the kids' bedroom, then the sitting room has no. So we appreciate that, and that's the biggest population we are living at. So we have those products that we want to we are scaling out as a bank, and I'm sure it is going to be able to improve. But of course, this issue of cost is still there. The issue of cost is still there, that we still give them at a higher interest rates. But if we can be able to partner with government so that we can be able to bring those costs lower. I know from the discussion on table, we have gotten commitments that the Mortgage Refinancing Act is going to be operationalized. The only thing which I have not, from all the discussions I have never got, is the timelines. The moment you speak things and there is no commitment of timelines, it can be 1 year, then it goes 2 years.
That's why I was looking at my colleague, Minister of Finance, and thinking about what timelines are we looking at? Because the problems highlighted are going to be heavily resolved by that. Because of course the other challenge is about, I talked about the long-term funding, which few banks can be able to give mortgages more than 10 years. Most of the banks are average doing 10 years. It's housing finance, which is stretches to 25 years, of course, because of our mandate. So those the things I think can be done. The other thing which can be done from the banking perspective, and which we are trying to play in, is about innovation. How innovative can banks be? I talked about Zimba and Polampola as one of the innovations that we have tried to put across as a bank. And beginning of this year, we ran around the country doing what they call the Zimba Challenge. Zimba Challenge was, we went out there looking for contractors, developers, anyone who has any idea on which kind of house can we call affordable? Because we all talk about affordability, but there's sometime when I had was in the room and they were asking about what is affordability. Affordability to me and Vanna may be different. Vanna may be talking about affordability. If she gets a house of 250 millions, that's quite very affordable. Another person is talking about affordability as 100 million. So what is affordability? So without losing my point, we are looking at developers who can be able to give us a prototype of a house, what we can all agree. And we had some winner, where we had someone who developed a house which was 50 million. From all the very many people we got, the best house came with 50 millions. Of course, it was a quite 2-bedroom sitting room, self-contained, and the cost was 250 millions. So when I was listening to Peter here, when he was giving us the numbers of affordability, what people can afford, they're talking about 25 millions, and I was like, okay, do we need to redo this? And we look for more people. The good thing that we have architects in the room, and it has been a challenge which has been posed to us to you as architects. Can we redefine what is affordable? But like I said, the prototype we have as housing finance is 50 millions. Which I think we are working with partners, other developers, to see how many of these units can we able to multiply, so that we can be able to for now call it as affordable, as we are getting more innovations to see that we can be able to be in this space. Of course, in the same sense of innovation, what we are trying to do as a housing finance, being the biggest player and the market leaders, I know from before the end of this month, we are going to be able to launch what they call the green housing. We have always been talking about environmental resilient houses. I think the architect has been talking about it. We want to be able to roll out what they call the green housing, which we think with all the benefits comes with, where you will know that the surveys can be very clear that when you have a greenhouse, you are going to have reduced utility costs. They are more resilient to weather challenges, which we all know they are existent with us. So it may be more, people may appreciate them, and equally the study shows that people who have green housing, they are likely to have, not likely actually, have more disposable income because of the reduced utilities. So it's a product that we are going to launch before the end of the month. And I think we have equally engaged the architectures, we have engaged the valuers, we are engaging government to see how can they, as we are going to the market, how can we, and government from NDP, they're talking about sustainability as a key focal or focus area. How can we work with government to make this product as cheap as possible so that it can have a big multiplier effect? So from the space, without me repeating myself, from the challenges and what government has to be done, I like the commitment from government about the mortgage institution, the Mortgage Refinancing Act, and a company, the money has been allocated. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate those, how far we have come, but the issue is how can we be able to fast track that. But also, as I close, just to remind that from where we sit, I've talked about the the incremental loans and the land tenure challenges. And the issue for land tenure, what we have come at Housing Finance innovatively is to be able to extend loans to, or incremental loans to up to 50 millions when you don't need a title. Because we know that most of the people don't have land titles, they have communal land, they have chivanjas, and I think we are just a few of the banks who can be able to extend that credit without asking for the real title. So we are trying to become, amidst the challenges, we are not sitting down to say, okay, this is a challenge, we can't do anything about it. We are trying to do something about it, and we are really happy to work with government to see that we can make this cost as low as possible, so that when someone comes to the bank to ask for the mortgage, we are talking about below 10% interest rate from the ups of 18%. Thank you so much. I'm hoping that I've answered what you have asked me.
Yes, you have. And I know there's even much more you could have said. I just needed to listen to all of you. And now I am going to propose a way to wrap up in 10 minutes. We had a rapporteur, Christine, but Christine, I think we will put this on the website. The time is gone to do that. What we will do is have the panelists help us begin to get a way forward. And this is how we will do it. In 2 or 3 sentences, just tell us, imagine that next year, 2027, we meet again. What improvement would you hope, measurable improvement, you could do in your various capacities to convince us that we are finally turning the corner? You will be thinking about the answer. Just one improvement next year that we can report and say, we have done this as UBOS, as NBRB, and as you think about the answer, we're going to start from left to right. But as you think about that answer, I would like to quickly thank our supporters and partners, Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, National Planning Authority, Sustainable Urbanization and Housing Program, National Building Review Board, Habitat for Humanity, National Housing and Construction Company Limited, Housing Finance Bank, and you may see, though they did not come, Plascon is our long-standing supporter. So now we will hear in 1-2 sentences, next year you're back, you'll say, I did this. And after which, Irene, you will help us close the session because the minister is not here. So thank you. Take notes, Christine, very carefully. This is what's happening in the next 12 months. Go ahead.
Thank you. I said that we needed to agree on what is going to be measured. Now, you said that you are the people who measure these things, eh? Now, which is correct? Much as we measure these things, we normally work with our stakeholders to exactly know what are we going to measure, such that we do exactly that. So between now and that process, I am sure we would have come up with the correct measurement of what we want us to be producing, preferably every year if it can be possible, to make sure there is a stock that where somebody can refer and say we have made improvement with this magnitude within this year, and we have made improvement within this magnitude in this year.
Thank you. As the National Building Review Board, we are committed to strengthening monitoring and compliance of the local councils, targeted to improve efficiency and turnaround time in approval processes. And for the record, that local authority has started issuing permits online.
Wow. I'll go look for mine. Thank you. Derek?
Thank you once again. On my side, I think there will be 3 key things. One is to address the cause, not the symptoms, and that is if next year we are here and the shareholder issues of national housing are resolved, then I will know we are taking the right steps. The second will be, and I can commit that we shall achieve that between now and then. The second is about policy influence, particularly in taxation. It will not be across the brackets, but for particular identified housing projects, for instance, institutional housing projects. Then if we can improve our scale to be in the 500 and above per year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's tough for me, but the infrastructure in Greater Kampala metropolitan area will have improved greatly. That's number one. Number two, the mortgage refinance company will be fully operational, capitalized, and beginning to attract private capital into the company in order to provide the liquidity that is necessary for financing housing. The third one is we'll ensure that we provide long-term capital through institutional finance, including leveraging pension funds, and strengthening the instruments such as the real estate unit trusts, because that's critical for crowding in even low-income earners into earning, this housing. And then also we shall have strengthened trade order and ensuring that the lamentations that the Minister for Housing was making here of implementation of regulations is actually taking root. Thank you so much.
For us as a ministry, our priorities right now, I'll highlight majorly two. One of them is to unlock private capital in affordable housing by leveraging partnership between government and the private sector. We are working on a national affordable housing program framework, and that one is key because it's an integration looking at where the areas, the challenges are for the private sector and ensuring that government comes in to address them to unlock more capital. So our promise is that we shall have a national affordable housing framework, hopefully next year. And our next commitment is on the real estate bill. There's a lot of concern when it comes to industry standards, when it comes to fraud, when it comes to agency, so many areas. So our commitment is next year, the real estate bill will be an act.
Thank you. Very good commitments. I have three. One is as the bank, where of course from the Ministry of Finance, the commitment of Mortgage Refinancing Act comes in handy. But on our side is more innovation. I talked about the green mortgage, which we want to be able to scale out, and I know it will be directly aligned with the NDP4 in terms of sustainability. Of course, the other is about more innovations, products like rent to own. We have talked about it. Countries like Rwanda, Kenya are doing it. We haven't done it in Uganda. It's something which we are going to do as a bank. The other is more partnership with the suppliers of the mortgages. She talked about 170, I think Irene talked about 170 developers. And we want to be able, we haven't yet worked closely with all of them, but we want to have more collaboration with them so that we can actually use as opportunity to scale the mortgages, so that we can be able to have directly be able to support on the reducing on the 2.4 million housing deficits. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a very tough question. But I think for us it is one critical issue from the perspective of comprehensive integrated planning. we are looking at a commitment where, as we undertake reviews of physical development plans that are being prepared for the upcoming urban centers, the cities, the towns across the country, we are looking at ensuring that all these physical development plans specifically, explicitly plan for housing as an allocation within these plans that they need to incorporate. So it is not just business as usual that we have these land uses or we are planning for this kind of setup, but we're also looking at them actually generating a kind of like an inventory, explicitly showing that this is what we are looking at in terms of allocating for residential housing, low income affordable housing. So essentially, physical development plans should not be approved unless that is something that is explicitly integrated within the physical development plans, because that is what will feed into initiatives such as the land banking process and probably also unlocking the land fund to support the land banking and ultimately projects that deliver affordable housing or low-cost housing. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I had some questions here. We are going to answer them. We are going to open a website, a web page that will put all this information and more and be interactive, because the dialogue has just begun. On behalf of the Uganda Society of Architects, I thank you all for coming, and I now hand over to Commissioner to officially close. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Architect Vanna. And on behalf of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, we would first like to express our gratitude to the Uganda Society of Architects for convening this important dialogue on housing and for also giving us an opportunity to partner in advancing the affordable housing discussion. As a ministry, there are so many areas of intervention, so many areas where we know that collaboration is key, and we must work with partners because housing is a value chain. We want to thank you for identifying such a rich cross-section of stakeholders. We also want to thank our panelists for your views. We thank our participants for your perspectives and recommendations. We have listened to the keynote address. We have taken note of those 7 recommendations. We have also listened to you, our dear stakeholders, and we are going to go back and review these recommendations and discuss these recommendations and ensure that a plan is put in place to advance housing in Uganda. It is now a national challenge, and it is growing, and action must be taken. So thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for being so patient. We look forward to inviting you again. We hope the USA can organize again, though we also have a program working group under the ministry where we will be convening you to advance this discussion further. So thank you so much, participants. And with those remarks and with the powers invested in me as the Honorable Minister of State for Housing, I declare this dialogue closed.